All that matters is to be first across the line. When you win sprints, you're a great sprinter, but when you win a great one-day race, you've proved you're a great rider. Psychological edge is massive in sprinting. I used to walk down a street and nobody would notice me. Now, I get stopped all the time, people saying, "Well done." It makes me really proud to have done my bit to help make cycling a little bit more popular. I'm not getting bored with cycling or winning, I love it. But I need to give myself new targets all the time. If I do a circuit, then after 3 laps I could tell you where all the potholes were. The thing with depression is you don't realize you have it, and even when you do, you don't want to realize you have it. I'm not as talented as others, but I have a determination, and will that enable me to work a lot harder than anyone else. Every rider trains their muscles, but few train their brain. It's my job. It's not a hobby, it's how I put food on the table for my family. I have to be on a bike. I started getting into decent food after I got a house in Tuscany, near the British Cycling Academy's training base. For a cyclist, the area is incredible, with the flats of the basin of Florence, the heights of the Apennines, and the small climbs around Chianti. People's brains work differently. The brain is like a muscle and you have to train it, keep active in races. I notice if I haven't raced for a while, it's hard to see things clearly, so you have to relearn that. At the end of the day, I want to be the first rider across that finish line, and I'll just find the quickest and easiest way to do it. If you want a lot of endorsements, then you'd pick the Olympics. But I've had a passion for the Tour since I was a kid. Let's put it this way, it would be harder to win a stage on the Tour de France, so that would mean more. I'd take the Tour win first, but I'm aiming for both. The other sprinters are big and powerful, but I have different strengths. The first thing is my leg speed. Most guys sprint at 120 revolutions per minute, but I sprint at 130 to 140. Think of it like a smaller engine revving faster. My body is shorter too, so I can lean over the handlebars for a more aerodynamic profile. Again, think a smaller engine but in an F1 car. But you have to take asthma seriously. People do not realize the stress our bodies go under. You can believe or you can doubt yourself. It's the difference between a gap being 1 meter late that you're gonna launch, then it's 3 seconds and you're sat on the wheel and you're about to lose. The perception is that I've always made winning look easy. People think it's easy, but they don't see what's behind it, the time away from the family, the days spent climbing, training out in all weather, climbing but trying to keep the speed for the sprint. You can only pre-plan stuff to a certain degree because there are so many variables: road conditions, weather conditions, mechanicals. You have an idea of whose will you want to be on. A lot of the riders end up in Monaco, but I don't need to be there for the tax purposes because I'm from the Isle of Man. I do want to race motorbikes when I retire. Everybody who rides a motorbike thinks they can ride MotoGP. Anybody who does a Gran Fondo thinks they can do pro cycling. Anyone who drives a Corsa thinks they can do Formula 1. Cycling is unique in that in any other sport I'd be in a different weight category or discipline. What I do is a different sport to what Chris Froome does. The Olympics is where you see out of this world performances, isn't it? If you don't enjoy something you can't keep at it. That's the thing that sticks with me. It's been reported a lot that I've had 2 bouts of mononucleosis. The evidence suggests it wasn't 2 bouts, it was the same bout. I never got over it the first time. That's hard to explain to people. It makes it look like I'm not very resilient, whereas it was completely mismanaged. I want to win wherever I race. The teams invested a lot in me. My job in the Tour is to get the sponsor's logo in the most prominent place. I'd love to have my achievements recognized and for people to know enough about cycling to understand what my achievements mean. I need to be on a bike, mentally as much as physically. Sometimes it can be more tiring with the kids than on the bike, but I'm absolutely loving it. Once you can accept that you have a mental illness, that is when you can work on it. What keeps athletes going is the optimism we are going to be able to compete again. I'm a fan of motorsport and a fan of McLaren, and I was lucky to work with the company on a small scale across my career, but to be able to race now with that brand on my jersey, it's pretty special. I still have to rein in my fanboy attitude sometimes. Yorkshire is a hard place to ride a bike. If you're on the top for your sport for 10 years, it's going to seem like you've had more knockbacks than someone who has been at the top for 3 years. I'm fortunate in one way, and I can take pride from the fact that I've consistently performed for 10 years, which is something that not many people can do. I've consistently stayed near the top for 10 years, which is maybe something that is overlooked and taken for granted. If you're on the top for 10 years, it's going to seem like you have more crashes than someone on the top for 3 years. If you don't win as much in your 9th or 10th year, it's going to seem like you are on your way out. I'm going to do the Commonwealth Games for no other reason than national pride. It's something special getting to ride for the Isle of Man. Second doesn't mean anything in cycling. I use an inhaler myself and have done since I was 15. I'm pretty happy with my career. I just know what I'm capable of. Track and road cycling are very different things. It is easy to look at them both as cycling, but going from the road to the track is like asking Andy Murray to play squash. Yes, it's a racket sport like tennis, but it's not the same. I don't know why, but despite winning how many world championships, how many tour stages, and being 31 years old, some people still thought I had to prove myself, you know. So I had to do the track worlds to try to prove myself. I like to have plans in place so I know what I am doing and when. Take nutrition. When I am on the bike, I will start off eating solid food like rice cakes made with pistachios or energy bars. Then as the race goes on, halfway though, I will switch to gels as they get into your system more quickly and they are easier to palate when you're tired. If somebody had told me as a kid that I would win 30 stages of the Tour de France, I probably wouldn't have imagined it. I probably imagined I could do it. I don't lack confidence. But at the end of the day, one Tour de France stage win can make a rider's career. The Tour de France is ridiculously hard. In a sprint you make 100 decisions a second. What if X goes now and Y goes then? Should I take this gap or that one? You have to be sharp. Over time it becomes instinct. During the tour you get tired, you get exhausted, you're in pain and you can get sick for a few days but still have to ride through it. Crashes are the worst thing because your wounds stick to you, so you are sweating into your road rash all day, and when you try to sleep your wounds are sticking to the bed sheets. It is part of the job and we know the risks. Visit our website for more quotes, quoting.com.